Hi everyone, and welcome back to another Monday market review. This week we have a lot to talk about. I'm going to really try and keep it short and under 10 minutes. Try and summarize everything surrounding crypto markets for the week coming. All of my thoughts on Bitcoin, some altcoins I'm looking at for the week, and just general market discussions that we need to go over for the coming week, especially as we move into the White House Crypto Summit that's approaching on Friday. That was just announced over the weekend, following Trump's statements on making a strategic crypto reserve with Sol, XRP, and ADA, which all had really crazy, insane upside moves, especially ADA putting in a massive move, 80% move from the news announcement that it would be selected for a strategic crypto reserve. Following that, we also saw the crypto market do really well, and it was a Sunday, so we can expect potentially that the move is retraced early this week, depending on any news outlets that follow or any news date that follows the words of Trump. So yeah, this week we have the White House Crypto Summit. Unsure of what is going to be said on Friday. We also have Powell speaking on Friday, talking about interest rates and standard procedure from him. So overall, a big week for data, a week that we should really be paying attention to, depending on what is said in the crypto summit, and also what is said in the Fed talk, with positive signs of interest rate changes and positive signs towards crypto. We could see a discrepancy between the dollar and also Bitcoin. You guys know how I feel already about the dollar, and if it fails to hold 107 here, we could put in a 2017 and 2020 like move from the dollar, which we know if we pair against BTC pretty much rallied right in May 2020. That's what BTC done when the dollar put in a downtrend, and then again in May 2022, BTC done a similar move as the dollar retraced. So it's all to play for this week. The market's going to be heavily induced by news outlets, what's being said by Trump and his team, especially potentially what positions Trump's team are buying into the World Limited Finance. We got to see what they are doing this week, and I think any move that happens this week we have to take with a pinch of salt. So first of all, I want to comment on a similar price action we had back in January when we had the Trump inauguration. We basically rallied the week before the Trump inauguration, which was on the 20th. We can see how BTC rallied into the Trump inauguration. Following the inauguration, we had a range that formed. So this was the week following the Trump inauguration. So this was Monday to Friday. So the trading week of the Trump inauguration, which was again heavily induced by news outlets, news-related pumps and dumps, etc. People waiting for the EOs to be signed and all of that. We got to the end of the week on Friday, and there was nothing really worth, people holding on to positions for. At least, a lot of people had their eyes set on Trump announcing a strategic Bitcoin reserve, which again was not announced, and we saw people start to exit positions most likely. And from there, the rest was history, leading on to a move much lower. So now we have to consider this week, right, is that if we start to rally into the crypto summit on Friday, what is the outcome participants are going to like for us to continue this week? What is going to be said that is not going to make people exit and potentially short the market, given a news outlet or news that was dropped that wasn't worth positioning into initially? The news itself has to be substantial enough for people to be willing to hold onto their positions and potentially go risk on back of them. So if we do get a rally sort of into Friday, it's really important to see how we play out into this crypto summit, and if anything is actually mentioned around a strategic Bitcoin reserve and a crypto reserve, like any thoughts and comments from Trump further would be really important for us. Otherwise, I think we could likely see, if we do rally this week, we could likely see a rollover and back down towards 86k, which brings me to sort of like the price action from here. On the daily, we are, the weekly was a fantastic close on the weekly, back above 92k. The daily potentially bearish retesting range low here. I do think it's possible for an 86k retest. As price action unfolds, we can see how ranges over time, adapt and they expand. And when we look at the range from back in March last year through to May, we initially had this sort of range, which eventually, expanded from a 60 to 70k range to a sort of like 52 to 72k range. So you could also sort of expect that maybe if we retest this 82, 86k region, then this could be the new range low and we start to bracket between 106k to 85k. So going on and talking about the range breaks themselves, I've spoke about this a lot, but the prior 3 range breaks from BTC all had news that was worth people buying basically into crypto markets. This was like the first sign of an acceptance of the Bitcoin ETFs. This range break back in January was the first signs of large ETF buyers stepping in, and then here was when Trump was actually elected as president. So with the crypto summit on the horizon, if there is an event or a news outlet that is something is dropped of that sort to do with a strategic Bitcoin reserve, anything that is substantial enough for us to break out, as I just was commenting on, better than the price action we saw during the Trump inauguration week, then maybe we can get that break and we can look at price pushing and breaking from this range, just as it does on the prior 3 times following a news drop that the market likes, right? And then we have to consider the outcome that if we don't like the news that's dropped and the market isn't seeing this in a positive way, then we can look to just continue to range here. When we're talking about levels that we have to hold, for me, the area remains 82k. For bullish continuation, I really don't see a reason why Bitcoin should fall under there. I think 86k is definitely a place that we can retest this week, maybe before the crypto summit or after it, either or. 86k looks like a nice place to retest, but overall, if price starts to accept under 82, we're definitely taking a trip to 66, and then from there it's going to take much longer for the market to resolve into some sort of bullish continuation again. So I want to talk about quickly the cycle history, looking at pullbacks in the market, especially going into the pre-parabolic phase, which I think we're very close to on BTC. I think we're very close to legging up for a few months into that 160 to 200k region. But you can see that we basically have this pre-parabolic leg up from BTC every cycle, and then we move into the parabolic period where this green section begins, so the 0.618 fib where the section begins. And pretty much every time we move into this area, we see a pullback. In 2012, we had a 25% pullback on BTC before it legged up. In 2017, we had a 33% pullback from BTC before it legged up. In 2020, we had a 21% pullback from BTC before it legged up. This is on the monthly as well, right? And then again, on the monthly chart, we have a 27% pullback so far before the market legs up, in my opinion. I do think that we are forming a new range between this sort of 86 to 106k region, and we are just waiting out for some large news to drop this week, which I don't think personally is going to happen. I would like to speculate that for the sake of the market and good conditions that we can get some positive news this week, but I think it's unlikely. I think they'll blue balls us again, just like they did during the inauguration week. So it's a matter of if and when that news comes. I think it will probably take a while to figure itself out. I have spot buys that I bought from 85k down to 82 that I'm looking to hold, and I'm completely flat on these. I have no interest in trying to sell these anytime soon unless we go into the mid 100k regions. If it does revisit my entry, then I will look for something new in due course. Quickly talk about alts I like for the week. I really like PNUT. Nice accumulation, long-term accumulation break from it. Almost a month range that's broken from in there's like a 4-hour order block down here. So I'm looking for a sweep into this 4-hour order block this week for a reversal and potentially targeting, a big break. Targeting a big break through this 0.34 region. If it can get above here, it should just gap up. Kaito still remains on high interest for me. Looking for a little bit of a trap under 183 this week. Sweep above here, and we're looking for a leg up and potentially a new leg up higher. IP, this is starting to look a little bit weak. When I see my EMAs, when we get a buy signal, and following that buy signal, we get quite a short period of trend and then a crossover again. It's a signal of potential weakness to me. You can see that previously when we got these buy signals on IP, they tend to make new highs and we sort of failed here and put in a lower high. So I do like this region to hold for IP. If it shows me some flip of the EMAs this week and back above $6, I think we can look at spot and nearer ETH as well. This is looking like a pretty good chart. Nice reclaim on it on the 1 hour, 30-minute. If it can start to get above 0.32, I think there's a good chance of it gapping up to 0.37. So I'm going to be looking for a bit of an intraday position up here if that gives. I think I pretty much covered everything. I think it's going to be a week of chop and probably waiting for news outlets to say what needs to be said. As we approach the crypto summit, if we do start legging up into it, be very cautious with taking positions, and especially if nothing worth longing happens in the summit, then it's probably a good sign to take some shorts and look for a move back into 86k if we haven't done so already. Things are looking positive for the next couple months. I remain being very bullish on Bitcoin, especially over the next few months. Altcoins, I'm still waiting for the perfect time to scale into spot onto these, but Bitcoin remains a priority with targets being 160k by October. That's everything for this week's Monday market review. Social linked in the description below, and I hope to see you guys next week. Thanks very much. Goodbye.